Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you all doing, guys? Hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome again to a new Khamsa Ma Ramadan video, and thank you for joining our little journeys for not only learning Arabic masry but enjoying it. Today, inshallah, we'll be talking about Eid Al Adha, the second important feast in the Muslim year. But before we start, I really recommend that you go watch the videos that I did before about Eid Al Fitr, as it will really help you understand this episode. Especially there is a lot of course of similarities between the two Eids. So I'll leave the link here for you to check it out. Also I'll leave it inshallah in the description so you can watch it. Today inshallah we'll make the episode on two main parts. The first one will be kind of comparison between Eid Al Adha, the one that we'll be talking about today inshallah, and Eid Al Fitr, the earlier video we made, because number one, logically there is a lot of similarities between the two of them, and number two, it will be kind of a quick recap about what we did before, because as I'm always telling you, languages is all about repetition. Believe me, once is never enough in languages. So that will be the first part of the episode about the similarities between Eid Al Fitr and Eid Al Adha, and the second part will be kind of the differences or the new phrases that we used specially for Eid Al Adha. And since we're always ready, دايما جاهزين, يلا بينا. عيد الفطر. عيد الأضحى. طيب, let's go for the similarities first. The first question, how to say feast and how to properly pronounce it. It is, let's first of all practice how to say the word correctly, which is, as you see it here, it's Eid. Eid with the Ain, with the letter Ain. So since you're learning Arabic, خلاص, from today, no more Eid. You have to train your tongue how to say the words properly. Of course, the same thing, we call the two of them Eid or Al-Eid by adding Al. And again, important reminder, don't forget to pronounce it correctly with the Ain letter, Eid. Eid. Because remember, Eid was hand, especially in the Masry dialect. So when I say Eid is hand, because properly how to say the feast is Al-Eid or Eid. Second point that we have in common in Al-Eidain, the two Eids, are how to congratulate the people when Al-Eid comes. Is what to say to the people in Eid. This is the very common phrase that we can use for any nice occasion. كل سنة وانت طيب, addressing a male. كل سنة وانت طيبة, addressing a female. Which means I wish that every year comes and you are in a good condition. That's the most common phrase for any occasion. So I would say exactly the same, because it's a very common phrase to use for any celebration. كل سنة وانت طيب, addressing a male. كل سنة وانت طيبة, addressing a female. And also, of course, I can use Eid Sa'id, Eid Sa'id, happy feast. And the new word I can tell you today, I can also say Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. Mubarak means blessed. So that means Eid Sa'id, happy feast. Eid Mubarak, blessed feast. And now the third thing in common. Do you remember how to call the prayers for Al-Eid, the special one? Waiting for the special salah for Al-Eid, which is Salat Al-Eid. Salat Al-Eid, the feast prayer, which is a very nice and beautiful time for everyone gathering fi al-masjid, the mosque, and all of them all together saying very little please until the time comes for Salat Al-Eid. Allahu Akbar, Allah. So now you remember it? Salat Al-Eid. Salat Al-Eid, the feast prayers. And not just to make the video very long, I would love to continue wallahi, but what to do? I will leave the link again, as I said, in the description. Go watch it, because almost, as I said, majority of the things, logically, it will be the same. So you know how is the game now. My advice, repeat. Once is never enough. That's why on purpose I was repeating the same phrases again. This is how it will get stuck in your head. طيب, now let's go to the new things that it's specially for Eid Al Adha. What's the new things? What are the new phrases that we're gonna use? The first important thing in the difference in Al-Eidain, the two Eids, obviously the name of Al-Eid itself. What does it really mean? So, as we mentioned before, Eid al-Fitr was breaking the feast, because it comes after the month of Ramadan. Eid al-Adha, Adha means sacrifice, one of the words that means sacrifice. Why is it called like that, the sacrifice feast? Because again, quickly, it's the story of the Prophet Ibrahim. So in Arabic, he is Ibrahim, very famous name. And his famous story with his son that he was asked by God as a test to sacrifice him. And the last moment he was rescued and was asked to sacrifice a sheep instead. That's why logically the symbolic thing for Eid al-Adha is the sheep, al-Kharuf. So how to say the sheep in Arabic? Al-Kharuf.
فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين فلما أسلما وتله للجبين وناديناه أن يا إبراهيم قد صدقت الرؤيا إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين إن هذا لهو البلاء المبين وفديناه بذبح عظيم.
Now the second key difference between Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr is the name of the night before Al-Eid. You remember in Eid al-Fitr it used to be called Laylat al-Eid. Laylat al-Eid. Logically the night of Al-Eid. Of course in Eid al-Adha I can still call it Laylat al-Eid. Logically the night of Al-Eid. However, there is more special name for this night for Eid al-Adha, which is Al-Waqfa, or the full name Waqfat Arafah. Waqfat Arafah, or even some people can say it Waqfat Arafat. Masry of course will pronounce it Waqfa, Al-Waqfa. So in Masry it will be Al-Waqfa or Waqfat Arafat or Waqfat Arafah. All of them just the same thing. Waqfa means standing or the stand. What about Arafah, Arafat? It's actually a name of a mountain in Mecca. Now to explain to you why Laylat al-Eid, the night of Al-Eid in Eid al-Adha, especially called the standing, Al-Waqfa or Waqfat Arafah, I have to explain to you briefly a very important pillar from the pillars of Islam, which is Al-Hajj. If you didn't hear this word before, Hajj means the pilgrimage. And a quick hint for you in case if you don't know it yet, that the letter Jim in Masri, they pronounce it Gim. So that means logically, Al-Hajj, Masri even they say it fast and they say it Al-Hajj. Al-Hajj. So as usual, we'll try to put our phrases for today in the cultural story about Al-Hajj to make it inshallah easier for your mind to remember it later on. So, يلا بينا.